There's something uniquely unsettling about someone who demands special treatment while quietly making someone else feel small. Not loudly, not obviously, just steadily. And sometimes the most effective response isn't confrontation, it's giving them exactly what they asked for, just a little more than they expected. This story takes place in a restaurant that didn't rely on ads or promotions. Its reputation spread the old fashioned way, through word of mouth, which meant one thing mattered more than anything else: how people treated each other. Customers, staff, everyone. Now, one of the waitresses there wasn't technically a trainer, but she was the kind of person new hires naturally gravitated toward. Calm under pressure, observant, the kind who could step in without making it obvious. On this particular night, she'd been quietly keeping her eye on a new server. He was older, a little unsure of himself, and it was his first shift handling a full section alone. The kind of situation where confidence hasn't quite caught up to the responsibility yet. And then his first difficult table arrived. It wasn't just that the table was demanding, it was how deliberate it felt. One person, clearly the leader, had a rhythm to it. Every time the server completed a request, there was another one waiting. No pause, no appreciation, no space to recover, just constant, controlled pressure. From a distance, it almost looked like bad luck, a needy table, but up close, it was something else. The service started to unravel a bit. You could see it in the way he moved faster, spoke less, checked things twice. So the waitress did what she could, quietly absorbing some of his other tables, keeping things from collapsing completely. Not dramatic, not visible, just steady support. And then something shifted, because this wasn't random. The woman leading the table wasn't just any customer. She worked at another location of the same restaurant. Not only that, she claimed to be a trainer, and she made sure he knew it, repeatedly. Every small misstep became proof, every hesitation something to point out, not to help, but to belittle. At some point, the server asked a question that didn't quite fit everything else: how to imply an employee discount. Actually, multiple employee discounts on the same bill, which wasn't allowed. And suddenly, everything made sense. The custom orders, the entitlement, the way she carried herself. This wasn't just someone being difficult. This was someone using insider knowledge to push boundaries while watching someone else struggle. And then, as if that wasn't enough, there were multiple birthdays at the table, or at least that's what she claimed, which meant free dessert. And of course, the birthday song, immediately. Now, this is the moment where stories usually escalate, where someone snaps, calls it out, creates a scene. But that's not what happened here. Instead, the waitress stepped away, spoke to the manager, and instead of shutting it down, they allowed it. Not the discounts, not the behaviour, but the requests, the birthdays, the song, all of it. Then she did something small that changed everything. She gathered people around, not just one or two staff members, everyone she could find: service, host, even someone from the back, just enough to turn something routine into something unforgettable. Meanwhile, the manager handled the other part, the part the table didn't see, because in a business built on reputation, how you treat people matters, even if you work somewhere else. Actually, especially then. So, back at the table, everything looked like it was going exactly as planned. Cakes placed neatly, in front of each person, smiles ready, the leader of the group, satisfied, in control, expecting the usual. And then they started singing. Not casually, not politely, but full noise. Every voice, every note, every ounce of energy. Loud enough to fill the entire space, and then some. The acoustics didn't help. Corner table, closed section, sound bouncing back in waves. There was no hiding from it. At first, confusion, then discomfort, then something closer to regret. Because what was meant to be a small moment of attention had become something overwhelming, just a little too much. And the staff, they didn't break character, not once. Smiling, singing, committed, right to the very end. By the time the song ended, the energy at the table had completely changed. The confidence was gone, the control gone, and somewhere in the background, another consequence was already unfolding. A phone call, manager to manager, a quiet exchange of information. Because while customers might come and go, staff behavior, especially from someone representing the same brand, doesn't get ignored. The discounts didn't go through, not a single. And at some point, the woman was handed a phone. And whatever was said on the other end was enough to break through that composure she maintained on. No public argument, just a quiet unraveling. As for the server, he made it through the night, shaken, but not alone. And maybe that's the part that matters the most, because the revenge here wasn't just about the payback. It was about backing up your coworkers without ever raising your voice in anger, just in song. So here's the question. When someone uses their position to quietly put others down, is it better to confront them directly or let them experience the weight of their own behavior in a way they can't ignore? What would you have done? That was sweet revenge. It always comes back around.